Good morning, dear friends. Here we are, another week, another study of the book Courage by several spirit authors through the mediumship of Francisco Cândido Xavier. I'm Shane Martin from the Spirit Society of Richmond, and in collaboration with Kardec Radio, every Thursday morning we are together discussing one of the chapters from this most blessed book. And we are hopeful that in the near future we'll have a new translation available for purchase so that we can all enjoy. But for now, we study together. Today's message is by the Spirit Emmanuel, and he titled his message In the Field of Trials. Beautiful, huh? Remember, we are in a world of trials and expiations during our planetary transition towards a world of regeneration. As anything in nature, this transition is a period of time that could, take a couple of centuries, thousands of years. We don't know. It's all in the helm of Jesus and our own individual improvement as well. All to say that in nature, as everything in the universe, there is a gradual transition from one state to the next. Nothing is abrupt. So, as we feel the effects of the planetary transition, we also know that we're still going to be subject to trials when we get to a world of regeneration. But today, we may be in the field of trials. We all are. 8 billion incarnate spirits plus the many billions of discarnate beings. However, even in this field of trials, we are not alone. The superior spirits are there with us, our mentors and guides are with us, and that's why we do the kind of studies we do, so that we can get into the habit of nourishing our souls with good spiritual bread, such as these books. So, in the field of trials by Emmanuel, he says, quote, let us imagine a father or parent who, under the pretense of love, has decided to keep his dearest son away from any kind of problems from the external world. Such a child, a holder of great affection, would be kept in a system full of exceptions. In order to avoid sickness caused by the weather, in his cradle phase, he would rest in a kind of sterilized place. As soon as his childhood ends, he would be taken to a somewhat inaccessible citadel where paternal tendance would prevail. He would not attend any sort of school so that he did not have to bear strict teachers or be influenced by colleagues from a different level. Once educated in a domestic place, he would enjoy only subjects and heroes that his father would have chosen for him. He or she would be isolated from any kind of human contact so as not to have problems. And he would not see any news so that he did not lose his inner purity. It would be an impenetrable ingenuousness and complete ignorance, a pure innocence and absolute incapacity. However, the day comes when the father, naturally linked to other obligations, leaves home, and forced by need, the young man is obliged to face the external world. Now, as a grown up man, in order to regain the wasted time, he endures the conflict of readaptation, which in turn brings him so much suffering. In addition, the son ends up being insane. The son ends up seeing insanity and cruelty where the father was supposed to see only protection and tenderness. The image clearly shows the necessity of incarnation and reincarnation for the spirit in countless worlds of the cosmic system, so that its qualities may be improved and the responsibility of conscience can be established. Difficulties and struggles are similar to a didactic material in the school and to scaffoldings in a construction. Once the degree is achieved or building is finished, they are both put aside. Therefore, let us bless the trials and tests that infinity wisdom utilizes to purify our strengths, thus making our character stronger. Ingenuousness is a fine quality of personality, but if work does not turn it into a treasure of experience, laboriously acquired, then it will be nothing less than a dedicated flower that is ruined at the first gust of wind. Unquote. We take a breathe, we take a moment to think about this beautiful imagery. So he's giving us this imagery of a parent. In this book, he uses the masculine father and son, he, for his example. But didn't we see ourselves in part of the story when we are not only trying to protect our loved ones from difficulties? If you are a parent, you probably relate to the story. We want to protect, we want to give them so much love, but then there are consequences of that sheltered space. So let's go back to the beginning and analyze a couple of items. So, what did the father want? The father, under the pretense of love, and that's what we do. Sometimes we don't want to allow others that we love to go through things. And God, we don't want ourselves to go through the trials. That's the most important part. We want to see, how can I apply this to my life? So he said, he decided under the pretense of love to keep his dearest child away from any kind of problems from the external world. Then the child would be kept in a system of exception, so he was sheltered from the elements. So to prevent sickness that the weather could cause, he was kept in a sterilized space. Then, after the cradle phase, so the child now can move, they would be kept in an area where only paternal tenderness would prevail. There will be no school, so there will be no teachers. They will not be influenced by others that were different. Only subjects and heroes that the parents chose for the child. How many of us also don't want, right, to be around people, different people, because they're different, because we have to bear witness to living in disagreement, living with diversity. Let's think about it. Imagine if today we walked outside, all the trees look the same. One green, one type of leaf, one type of flower, only one type of bird, only one type of fish, only one. That's not how nature works. Nature is diverse. Nature is inclusive, right? There's so many forms on the earth. Nature is so beautiful. So is nature in other planets, in other realms. It would be so boring to just have one of each, right? Imagine if I could only choose one type of microphone, one camera. That used to be the case. Now we have diversity, we have choice. And this parent, out of love, is keeping the child from difficulties. The next paragraph will hit us in our conscience for the divine law of society. He would be isolated, the child would be isolated from any kind of human contact so as not have problems, and would see no news so did not lose his inner purity. Isn't that our own instinct? I don't want to go there. I don't want to be those people. Spiritual center is too complicated. They think differently. They do things differently. And I don't want to contaminate myself. But then, how are we fulfilling the law of society as we find in the Spirit's book, the third part of the Spirit's book? This is beautiful for us to see ourselves in this situation where not only we want to be isolated as to prevent the difficulties and the trials, but also sometimes we may keep others from experiencing that. Not that we're going to put ourselves into difficulties, but it's natural that there will be disagreements, there will be attrition when different points of views, different styles, different experiences, cultural background, right? They will be encountering one another. But then the father needs to take to other obligations enforced by need. Now the young man, the young child has to face the external world. So if we were cradled now, we go to work and we have difficulties. We get out and we have to interact with others. Now, as a grown up man, in order to regain, look at the words of Emmanuel, the wasted time, because there was no time well utilized out of love. That's sometimes what we do. Out of love, we protect. Out of love, we shelter. Out of love, we ourselves avoid contact, right? Now, the child has to endure the conflict of readaptation, which in turns brings suffering, because in the formative years, the child did not have the opportunity to see, to be experiencing different things. The son ends up seeing insanity and cruelty where the father wanted him to see protection and tenderness. Now he thinks his father is insane, right? Why would you keep me from seeing all of this? Now I'm so suffering, unprepared. Why did he tell us this story? He says this image clearly shows the necessity of incarnation and reincarnation for the spirit. In, I'm going to emphasize this, countless worlds in the cosmic system, so that its qualities may be improved and the responsibility of conscience can be established. So today, I'm here, I'm in the US, and I'm an American in the US. Tomorrow, maybe I'll be born in Asia. Maybe I'll be born in Antarctica. Maybe I'll be blessed with a reincarnation in a different planet. And Emmanuel is saying there's a necessity to go incarnate and reincarnate many, many times. Why? Because we have to go through the experience. So what I find today difficult to deal with could be perhaps my need to work on that intolerance. Perhaps in previous lives, I was in a completely, and I want to say I mean us. We were in a completely different geographical location on the earth or elsewhere. Can you imagine how much gain we would have incarnating in a planet just like Jupiter? Saturn, Jupiter, right? More elevated than we are, or even outside the solar system. And in the books of Emmanuel, we see, right? In the book um, of the books of Emmanuel, we see Alcyone coming from a different star in a different area of the universe, incarnated on the earth to help one specific person. But as we go through this incarnation and reincarnation in countless worlds, who is there with us? Our mentors, our guides. Call them what you want to call them, knowing their names or not. They're there, helping us, guiding us through this path. In this world, you have to learn these things. In a different world, you learn differently. In this country, you learn this. In country Y, learn something different. So let's celebrate being different experiences, being diverse. And he's going to give us a beautiful explanation. It says, difficulties and struggles we all have, right? We all have. If you tell me you don't have difficulties and struggles, I want to come meet you. Because if people like Chico Xavier and Divaldo have struggles, imagine us. If Jesus had struggles, right? Because of what we did to him, imagine us. Are similar to a didactic material in the school, the books, the materials we study, or to to scaffoldings in a construction. So you put a scaffolding because you have to go high and you need support. And once that's done, once the degree is achieved, you don't need that book anymore because it's committed to memory. Once the construction is done, then you take the scaffoldings away. So we need that, the difficulty, the struggles. And now for the week. What should we do with this knowledge? It says, therefore, let us bless the trials and tests that infinite wisdom utilizes to purify our strengths, thus making our character stronger. We should write this down and I will post it later. Let's bless the trials. And if you are undergoing trials, difficulties in this life, know that you're not alone. Seek your spiritual center, talk to them, go attend, because we need to take ourselves out of the place we are. Go study the gospel, go study the works, go interact with one another. Even our obsessor friends come with us. People who are dwelling in our homes get to listen to it. You improve the whole environment of your house when you start praying, when you start doing the gospel at home, when you start going to the spiritual center or whatever religion you attend. So we need to get out of there and know that you're not alone. This is the myth. This is what the dark forces want us to believe, that we are alone. We are not alone. Life goes on. Your loved ones who passed away are there. They might be able to help you. They continue living in a different form. Only the physical body perishes. The spirit and the perispirit do not perish. So we pray for them. We ask for their guidance. We pray that they are well. We pray that we can connect more often and feel their loving presence with us. Because we all have struggles in the world of trials and expiations, but we are transitioning, and one day we will find ourselves in the world of regeneration. Until then, God willing, we'll be here every week with another study of the book Courage. We've been together for over 35 weeks, counting the preface. So God willing, I'll be back with you next week. Don't forget, share, like, subscribe, follow so that others can receive this message from Emmanuel as well. We can make this content relevant so it can reach more souls who may be in need. Between now and then, take care of yourselves. God willing, I'll see you again next week. Bye bye.